You know when life seems calm and suddenly something totally unexpected happens. Well, I always say that living without an emergency fund is like walking on a tightrope without a safety net below. While everything is fine, you don't even notice. But on the day something goes wrong, and it always does, the fall can be hard. Imagine an ordinary person like me, you, or any viewer of this video. Everything follows the normal rhythm. Waking up, working, paying bills, planning the weekend. But a single unexpected event is enough to turn everything upside down. A car that decides to break down on the worst possible day. A layoff that comes without warning. A health expense that nobody expected. And when there's no money saved, every problem becomes a financial earthquake. That's when many people enter the cycle of desperation, maxed out credit card, high-interest loans, sleepless nights trying to figure out how to pay the next bill. All of this could be avoided with something simple, saving a little bit every month. It doesn't need to be much. Sometimes it's the equivalent of a snack you stop buying, or that impulse purchase you decide to postpone. The secret is in consistency. Money saved, even if little, works like an invisible shield. It doesn't prevent problems from appearing, because problems are part of life. But it prevents them from destroying your peace, your routine, and your plans. Having an emergency fund is like building a shelter before the rain. When the storm comes, those who prepared simply take a deep breath, close the door, and wait for it to pass. No panic, no rushing, no desperation. And that's the point. Living without savings is living on the edge, always on the verge of a financial scare. Starting small is much better than not starting at all. Because security isn't about how much you earn, it's about how you protect yourself. You know that moment when a person wants to show they're doing well financially, even when they're not? It's as if they wear a shiny mask to hide the mess that's behind it. And this starts innocently. A dinner at a more expensive restaurant, a brand-name shirt because I deserve it, a new phone just to not fall behind others. At first it seems harmless, but gradually it becomes a dangerous habit. Imagine someone who receives their salary and thinks, it's just this month, next month I'll make up for it. Except this month becomes the next one, and the next becomes another. And when they realize it, they're trapped in what I call silent debt. The bills increase slowly, quietly, the credit card limit decreases, the bills pile up, the money disappears, and behind the smile, that hidden anxiety grows. A feeling that something is always about to collapse. It's like filling a leaky cup. The more you put in, the more disappears. Living beyond your means isn't about luxury, it's about disconnection. It's when the person doesn't realize that their lifestyle doesn't align with their financial reality. And this generates constant pressure, paying for what they can't afford, keeping up appearances, faking stability. All of this has a price, and it's usually higher than any brand name product. But here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Life becomes much lighter when you're not trying to impress anyone. When your expenses respect your income, your money breathes, your mind calms down, and your life regains balance. And it's not about never allowing yourself something nice or pleasant. It's about doing it the right way, at the right time, with money that can really be spent, without guilt, without fear, and without burden. When you live within your means, you don't lose freedom, you gain it. You gain control, peace, clarity, and above all, the chance to build a future without hidden debts and without that worry that steals nights of sleep. And if you're enjoying this content and want to learn more and more about mastering your financial life, take advantage now and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and allows us to continue bringing stories and advice that truly transform. There's a silent habit that makes many people work their entire lives and still remain poor. The famous earned more, spent more. It's almost automatic. The person receives a raise, a bonus, a commission, and immediately thinks about changing their phone, changing their car, taking that trip, or starting to go to more expensive places. It seems like a reward, but often it's a trap. Imagine someone who for years dreamed of a raise at work. When they finally get it, they feel that incredible sense of victory. But instead of using that extra money to build a solid foundation, they use it to raise their standard of living. And what happens? Income increases, but expenses increase along with it. Result: at the end of the month, the pocket remains empty, just with bigger bills. It's like running on a treadmill. You make an effort, you get tired, but you stay in the same place. This behavior creates a dangerous illusion. The person thinks they're doing well financially now, but in reality, they're just masking reality with more expenses. And when an emergency comes, a job change, or any unexpected event, this new lifestyle becomes a prison. Too expensive to maintain, too difficult to abandon. The real secret of people who get rich is here. They keep their lifestyle the same for a while, even when they start earning more. They understand that a salary increase isn't a sign to raise expenses. It's an opportunity to build wealth, invest, pay off debts, and create freedom. Because in the end, getting rich isn't about how much you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn extra. Many people spend their entire lives working hard, saving when they can, but still feel like money never stretches. And there's a simple reason for this. Leaving money sitting idle is like leaving a plant without water. It stays there, quiet, but never grows. Imagine a person who has kept money in the same place for years, thinking they're safe. The problem is that while money sits idle, prices go up. Food gets more expensive, fuel increases, rent skyrockets. In other words, what used to buy a lot now buys almost nothing. It's as if time is stealing purchasing power slowly. That's why ignoring long-term investments is such a common mistake, and such an expensive one. Investing isn't a complicated game like many people think. It's simply making your money work, and work in a patient, continuous, and intelligent way. It's putting a little bit every month into assets that grow over time. Stocks, ETFs, real estate funds, good bonds. No rush, no trying to get rich overnight. True wealth is built slowly, like a tree that grows a little every day. Now imagine this same person deciding to change. They start slowly, the amount doesn't matter. They make their first investment, then the second, and keep going, month after month. Gradually, something magical happens. The money starts to grow on its own. Interest turns into gains, which become more gains, which become more growth. And one day they realize that little seedling that seemed small has become a strong tree, capable of supporting them in the future. That's what long-term investments do for you. They transform small actions into big results. Ignoring this is like always living in survival mode. But when you decide to invest, you switch to building mode. And that's how financial freedom begins. There's something worth more than any salary, any bonus, or any investment: the knowledge you carry with you. And yet many people stop learning after they get a job. It's as if they thought, that's it, I know enough. Except the world doesn't stop. Requirements change, tools evolve, companies update, and those who don't keep up fall behind. Imagine a person who entered the job market 10, 15, 20 years ago. At first, they mastered everything. They were fast, efficient, confident. But over time, new technologies emerged, new methods, new competitors, and they, stuck in routine, stopped learning. When they realize it, they feel they're being overtaken, not by someone smarter, but by someone who keeps learning. Skills aren't eternal. They expire like a product on the shelf. Not investing in continuous education is like trying to run with your shoes tied together. You may have strength, goodwill, experience, but you'll move slower. And in the job market, those who move slower lose opportunities. Sometimes they even lose the stability they thought they had secured. Now think of another person who decides to do things differently. They understand that learning isn't an expense, it's an investment. They read a new book every month, take small courses, learn a new tool, watch free classes, update their skills. Gradually, they become more valuable. They gain confidence. They gain open doors. They gain chances that previously seemed unreachable. And the most incredible thing is that no one can take this type of investment from you. It doesn't depend on the economy, doesn't depend on inflation, doesn't depend on government. It's yours. It's inside you. It grows with you. The truth is simple. Those who learn more, earn more. In opportunities, in security, in freedom. There's an invisible weight that accompanies many people every day, a weight that doesn't appear in bills, doesn't appear in bank statements, but appears in decisions and weighs exactly where it hurts most, in the pocket and in self-esteem. This weight has a name: social pressure. It's that feeling that you need to show you're doing well, that you need to have the right car, the right phone, the right clothes, the right standard. It's as if the whole world is watching and evaluating every choice you make, even though in practice nobody is paying that much attention. And then a dangerous cycle begins. Imagine someone who opens Instagram and sees friends traveling, dining at expensive restaurants, buying new things. Suddenly what this person has seems like little, seems too simple, seems insufficient. They start thinking, don't I deserve this too? Am I falling behind? And driven by this silent comparison, they start spending. And they spend not because they want to, but because they don't want to seem less. They buy on credit, pay in countless installments, take on long-term payments, all to keep up with a pace that isn't theirs. A pace that often isn't even real, because many people who show off luxury are living in debt behind the cameras. It's like running in a marathon you never signed up for, trying to keep up with people who don't even know you exist. Giving in to this social pressure is shooting yourself in the foot. The person buys something to impress, and minutes later, they're alone with the bill. The likes pass, the comments decrease. But the payment slip is still there, firm and strong, waiting to be paid. And this race never ends, because there will always be someone with something better, a bigger car, a more beautiful house, a more expensive watch, a more perfect life. If you enter this game, you never win. Never, because the goal keeps changing all the time. Now, imagine someone who decides to follow a different path. This person understands that comparing their own life with others is like comparing a book you're writing with the cover of someone else's book. It doesn't make sense. They start buying what makes sense for them, not to impress. They say no when necessary, choose carefully, respect their own pocket, and discover something liberating. Financial peace is worth much more than any appearance. It's when you stop competing with the world and start competing only with yourself that your life truly changes. The comparison decreases, the pressure disappears, money starts to breathe, and for the first time, you feel you're building something that's yours, not something others expect you to build. There's something almost nobody talks about, but that destroys more plans than any economic crisis. Living life on autopilot, without knowing exactly where you're going. Many people work, pay bills, make an effort, but never stop to think, what do I really want to build? Where am I taking my money? What's the future I want to live? It's like getting in a car at dawn, driving without a destination, and then complaining that you didn't arrive anywhere. When a person lacks financial clarity, everything becomes urgent. Each month is a race to close the accounts. Each expense becomes an impulse. Each problem becomes desperation. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they were never taught to build a path. They only learned to survive. Now imagine the same person deciding to do something simple, but powerful. Stop for a few minutes and design their own future. They think about what they want in the coming years, the type of life they want to have, the tranquility they'd like to achieve. And for the first time, they realize that money isn't just a number. It's direction. When a person knows where they're going, each choice gains meaning. They save because it makes sense. They invest because they understand the purpose. They avoid impulse spending because they know it takes them away from their own plans. Having financial clarity is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, everything becomes easier to see. And perhaps, while you're listening to this video, you're realizing that many of the things we've talked about here make sense for your life too. Maybe you're feeling that these stories are talking directly to you, as if someone finally explained what you've always felt but could never put into words. If this video is making sense to you, if you felt it speaking directly to your reality, then take advantage now and leave a like on the video. This shows we're on the right track and helps bring this content to more people who need to hear it too. There's a habit that seems harmless, but that prevents thousands of people from progressing financially. The famous, "I'll look at that later." It's that custom of postponing everything important. Saving, investing, organizing accounts, cutting expenses, planning the future, except this later becomes weeks, then months. And when the person realizes it, it's become years. It's like leaving a leak dripping from the ceiling and pretending it's not there. At first, it's just a drip. Then it becomes a bucket. And when they finally decide to fix it, the whole house is already wet. Many people live like this with money. They know they need to start an emergency fund, but think, next month I'll start. They know they need to study about investments, but think, when I have time, I'll look into that. They know they need to cut unnecessary expenses, but say, I'll organize my accounts another day. And meanwhile, life passes. Opportunities pass. Money passes. The truth is that procrastinating financial decisions is like always walking one step behind your own life. The person never gets where they want because they're always waiting for the perfect time. But the perfect time doesn't exist. The right moment isn't the future, it's now. Now imagine someone who decides to break this cycle. Instead of later, they choose today. They grab a paper, organize their accounts, set simple goals, cut what needs to be cut, start investing with what they have, even if it's little. And something impressive starts to happen. They feel lighter. They feel they're in control. They realize that small actions create big results. When you make decisions today, life starts to change tomorrow. There's a silent mistake many people make without realizing, not knowing exactly where money is going. They work, receive, pay bills, and at the end of the month, they're left with that mystery feeling, wait, where did all my money go? It's like filling a bucket without noticing it has small holes underneath. You put in, but it never fills up. When a person doesn't track expenses, they grow like weeds, small, discreet, almost invisible. 10 Rs here, 20 there, a subscription they don't even use anymore, a lunch out that became routine, a just today that happens every week. These are amounts that seem small individually, but together they form a huge whole. The problem is that without this control, the person loses visibility. They feel like their salary is never enough, that everything is tight, that they're always putting out fires. But it's not because there's not enough money, it's because there's a lack of clarity. Now imagine someone who decides to change. They don't start with complicated spreadsheets or difficult calculations. They start simple. They write down daily expenses. They observe where they're overdoing it. They discover small leaks they never noticed. And gradually, without pain, without extreme sacrifice, they start adjusting. They cut what they don't need. They reduce what's excessive. They reorganize what was out of control. And then something powerful happens. They see money stop escaping. With this clarity, they begin to understand that every choice matters, that every purchase has a consequence, that every small habit can build or destroy their financial health. And with this, money stops being a mystery and becomes a tool, one they use consciously, calmly, and strategically. Tracking money isn't about living tied to rules. It's about knowing what's happening to make better choices. It's about recovering the control that was lost in the small distractions of daily life. And over time, this simple practice changes everything. The person gains organization, confidence, and peace. In the end, everything we've talked about here isn't just about money. It's about life. It's about building a lighter, safer, and more conscious path. Each topic, from emergency funds to expense control, through investments, continuous education, and being careful with comparisons, shows one simple but powerful thing. Financial freedom isn't born from big changes, but from small decisions made with consistency. With each step you take, however small it may seem, you get closer to a life with less worry and more tranquility. A life where you don't depend on luck, the economy, or third parties to be well. A life where you take control with your own hands. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter if today the situation is tight, confusing, or messy. What matters is that you're no longer walking in the dark. From the moment you understand how money works and how it can work in your favor, the game changes. You start to build, to grow, to strengthen yourself. And in a few months or years, you'll look back and realize it all started with a simple gesture, deciding to do things differently. So take a deep breath and move forward. Your financial future begins with the next step you take, not in the past that's left behind. And before you go, if this content helped you, leave your like and share with someone who needs to hear this today. It might be exactly what that person is looking for. Let's go together.